Mission Impossible is a franchise that is near and dear to my heart. It's been spanning 30 years, over 30 years, 3 decades with the same star. The franchise has proven again and again that nothing is truly impossible. Tom Cruise is obviously the person I speak of who leads the entire franchise. And it's phenomenal that one franchise could keep the same actor for so long. So, even though I'm on my own today, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to continue watching this episode of LRM Ranks It. Like I said earlier, Mission Impossible is a franchise near and dear to my heart. It's been a favorite since I saw it on VHS when my parents were elsewhere, and I probably shouldn't have because the scene where Emilio Estevez gets killed in the first film scarred me for life, and I don't ride on top of elevators anymore. That being said, the franchise is known for its stunts that keep getting wilder and wilder. As one of the last movie stars of our time, Tom Cruise, in an age of franchises where the comic book title or Star Wars carries the movie more than the actor, Tom Cruise is practically more important than the title Mission Impossible. So with that, let's get into my rankings because I'm all alone. My number 6 last place Mission Impossible film is Mission Impossible 2, the only bad film in the bunch. This film is dreadful. Directed by John Woo, yes, it has those damn doves, but it also has a lot of mediocre scenes, poor character development. This is the movie that changes the franchise from a thriller to an action movie, which didn't go so great the first time. It does feature Thandie Newton long before Westworld. It's just terrible villain, terrible plot. That Limp Bizkit song, it's best left forgotten. From that, let's go into my number 5. My number 5 is Mission Impossible 3, back when they were still using numbers in the franchise. Mission Impossible 3 is J.J. Abrams' first film, as Tom Cruise wanted him to be his director after seeing Alias. It's definite improvement, like I said. It unfortunately fell after the couch jumping experience, so it didn't do so well at theaters, and everyone thought the franchise was dead afterward. Just like 2, it's low on the stunts. There's a high danger factor for Tom Cruise at all times, but it really doesn't match the stunts that will follow in the franchise. That being said, it kind of features a cool idea of a literal MacGuffin that you don't even know what it is by the end of the film, and you're kind of just along for the ride. So this is the only okay Mission Impossible film in the franchise. My number 4 favorite Mission Impossible film is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which I wish I could put higher on this list, but it's a list of 4 great films, and this one was directed by Brad Bird of Pixar fame. I believe it was his first live-action film. And it really, gets the franchise really on track to a point that was continued in Rogue Nation and Fallout, where we have an incredible stunt, among many, of him climbing the tallest building in the world in Dubai, as well as being matched with just a breakneck pace that never really lets off. Jeremy Renner's been added to the cast. Simon Pegg becomes a main character after being introduced in the last film. It's an absolute delight from start to finish, including the final fight taking place in an Indian parking garage, which with all the pieces moving themselves up and down. And it's one of the movies since the first where it truly comes down to the whole team having to come together to overcome the villain, each key member having their own role in the film. My number 3 favorite Mission Impossible movie is not Mission Impossible 3 because we already talked about it, but it is Mission Impossible, the original from the 90s. This film was directed by Brian De Palma, and it is a thriller, not an action scene, a film, even though it has a few action scenes in it. Again, not so heavy on the stunts. This is early days. The main stunt being Tom Cruise dangling from the ceiling, the image we've all seen 1,000 times, what we think of when we think of Mission Impossible, which really just needs incredible body strength that I don't have. But there's also a lot of other fun stunts, like Cruise jumping through the fish tank. And it's perhaps the twistiest of the movies, with a real mystery, since it's more of a thriller than it is action film. And yeah, this being my top 3, I'd recommend all these films except for the second, which you can really skip because you don't need it. But definitely check out the first Mission Impossible film if you have not seen it. My second favorite Mission Impossible film is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which was my number 2 before Fallout even came out, but that was back in the day when I put Mission Impossible the original first, because like franchises like Jurassic Park, I never believed they would top the first. The nostalgia factor, how unique it was. But yeah, once Fallout came out, it raised Rogue One to my second favorite and pushed the first one, unfortunately, to my third favorite. Rogue Nation obviously is most famous from the trailers for him holding on to an airplane as it takes off. Obviously, Tom Cruise is strapped in, but at the same time, if he got hit by anything, a bird, just anything while taking off, it would have absolutely destroyed him. There's lots of other great stunts in the film because director Christopher McQuarrie is not one for a single stunt, including a very long underwater sequence and fantastic motorcycle chases, all done by Tom Cruise, the master, the greatest actor of all time behind Harrison Ford. But love it. It introduces Isla Faust as a main character. She's one of the best female foils or co-stars in any spy franchise, action franchise, and she really carries her own as an equal to Cruise. The film also introduces Sean Harris as the villain, Solomon Lane, who only agreed to be in the film as long as they killed him off, as every Mission Impossible villain has been killed off in the past, and unfortunately he's the first villain not to be killed off, with Ethan Hunt putting him in a box, just like Ethan Hunt was put in a box in the beginning. And I guess that you know what my favorite Mission Impossible film is, but we will get to that after I do some plugging. Alright, so you're watching LRM Ranks It right now on YouTube, on LRM Online, wherever you want to watch it. We release every Tuesday. Usually Kyle's in charge. Usually there are 2 guests, but this week it's Nick Ranks It because I don't see the rest of LRM around here, you know? Following this release on Tuesday, Wednesday you get the podcast version, and this week I have a very special guest set up. It may be Tom Cruise. I'm waiting to see if I hear back from him. I've emailed like Tom Cruise at Gmail, Tom Cruise at AOL, Tom.Cruise, even Tim Cruise once accidentally. So we'll see if we can get him on the show tomorrow when the podcast will drop. Also, as Nick Dahl, I do Breaking Geek Radio, the podcast with Brandon Jones, where we like to have more of a controversy discussion as well as reviews filled with spoilers the week a movie comes out. So let's get back to Fallout. Fallout's a near perfect film. It's one of the best films I've seen in my life, from start to finish. It's more artistic than most Mission Impossible films. A lot of moments are kind of left in silence, where there would have been dialogue in another film. The stunts are unforgettable. When I saw the press screening of it, the whole jump, the whole Halo sequence, I almost passed out because I didn't realize I was holding my breath because I'm so afraid of heights. Meanwhile, his other fantastic stunts, topping all the other films, every stunt, from Tom Cruise dropping from a helicopter, Tom Cruise piloting a helicopter into a tailspin. What can you say? Christopher McQuarrie and Tom Cruise, who between writing and directing have worked on over 10 movies at this point, have absolutely nailed the formula, even though McQuarrie does work without a script, a finalized script. So there's actually the deleted scene that's just as good as the other fantastic stunt sequences. And it's not just stunts. The cast at this point is fantastic. You got Luther Stickwell back, Benji, Isla Faust, Sean Harris again plays Solomon Lane, and of course, who can forget Henry Cavill as Agent Walker / the real villain, if you've seen the trailer even. Not a very good reveal when it's in the trailer. Yes, that caused Mustachegate, which yes, is another win for Mission Impossible, and truly one of my favorite films in the last 10 years, if not ever. So definitely check out Fallout. It references every other Mission Impossible film, even 2, even though 2 is not necessary. Kind of wrapping everything up, though we know we're getting into 7 and 8 in the 2020s. Again with Christopher McQuarrie, the only director to return. And I cannot fucking wait. That's right, everyone. This has been LRM Ranks It, aka Nick Ranks It, just with me talking about Mission Impossible. I hope you have had as great a time as I have being here all alone in charge of the show. So, without further ado, well, I mean, click, subscribe, all that stuff. But without further ado, hasta lasagna, don't get any on ya.
Hey everybody, did you like what you just watched? Do you want to see more? Check out the other great videos available here on the LRM Online YouTube channel. Also, go check out our website, lrmonline.com, to see all the great stories that we publish every day.